God. All right. I want to get into the story about a guy named Jamie Gagne from Wilton, New York. Gagne is in this small community. I think it's around my old stomping grounds when I was on the radio in Albany, New York. And this guy has a wood shop in his front lawn. And the neighbors were assholes. They started giving him shit about making too much noise on the premises. So, he did what any clear-thinking, good neighbor would do. Put up a 7-foot-tall, gigantic cock on his front lawn.
And this next story is about a man who was arrested for displaying a wooden statue of a man's private parts.
You might want to look away if you think you might find the content offensive. The arrest happened in Wilton, and Mark Mulholland brings us the story live from our Saratoga newsroom. And Mark, this is
shit. Some of the Zaniacs would have actually gotten on top of it, and Diana would have been their would have been their coach. Get on there, stuff it in.
Unusual one.
It certainly is, Jerry and Jackie. Police and prosecutors say Jamie...
I said Croach, by the way.
Gagne's wooden sculpture violates decency laws. Gagne says forcing him to take it down and arresting him violates his constitutional rights. Now, we're blurring out a portion of the 7-foot pine structure, but...
You can see this gigantic shaft, and they, blur where you could see he carved, a nice... beautiful ridge to show this bulbous cockhead.
You get the idea. Jamie Gagne used a chainsaw to carve a penis and placed it on the front lawn of his Ruggles Road home. He put it there 9 days ago as an act of protest against the town of Wilton and a neighbor. The neighbor had been complaining to the town about noise coming from the construction of Gagne's workshop, and the town ordered him to stop work on the workshop and revoked his permit. Gagne says people immediately started laughing and taking pictures of it. Shortly after it was up, he got a visit from a state trooper who told him he'd gotten a couple of calls, but no official complaints. So he was a little surprised yesterday when 2 troopers showed up and told him the carving would have to come down and he'd have to go with them. He used a forklift and took it down as they waited, and then they charged him with public display of offensive sexual material.
Oh, come on.
When they told me I was under arrest, I was like, oh, and I had to go down to the station, handcuffs and everything. That caught me a little off guard. They were nice enough to give me a ride back home, but that seems a little excessive for some artwork in the front yard. I mean, they could have just asked to take it down.
Now, Wilton Town Supervisor John Lance says he's happy that it's been taken down and says it was no way to express anger. Coming up at 5:30, the difference in the eyes of the law between art and obscenity. Reporting live in our Saratoga newsroom, I'm Mark Mulholland. Back to you guys.
All right, Mark. Thank you.
All right, Mark. Thank you. It's all over the news. Made a call ahead of time so I can make this happen. It's almost like I planned the show today. It's remarkable. Let's bring him in. This is Jamie Gagne.
Hello?
Jamie, how are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Not bad. Thanks for taking the call.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay, buddy. I just got done playing the news story. What's happened? What's happened since then, Jamie?
Since then, tons of people have reached out to me with support, and I got a lawyer reached out to me to take the case on pro bono, which is pretty awesome. And a lot of people reaching out with similar stories about getting screwed over by court enforcement, that kind of thing. So, some might just say, why bother? Or is it in your head now that maybe your rights are being violated and you might want to run out that ground ball, Jamie? Absolutely. The whole reason I put it up was kind of to flex my First Amendment rights, and I believe it's absolutely a First Amendment case. So, yes, I feel like my rights are being violated.
Okay, now the wood shop that you work out of, was that for fun or was that for work, that people were all upset about the noise?
It's a hobby. I'm a contractor, but I don't do any work out of the workshop very often. It's mostly for hobby. I like to, make tables and boards, that kind of thing.
Okay, so what a lot of people do, is what you do there any more elaborate than what anyone else might do, Jamie?
No, not at all, no.
Now, and you have an idea who the person is who was complaining, yes?
Yeah, it's the guy right across the street from me. He just moved in a couple of years ago. He was a little upset because he spent a little too much on his house. And
oh, so now, all right. He overpaid, and now he's taking it out on you, huh?
It seems to be the case, yeah.
Okay, so now, was there ever a conversation with that guy ahead of time, or did he just go right for the jugular?
I met him once, and first thing I told the guy, I was like, hey, I'm sorry about the mess and the noise. I'm still working on the shop. If it's ever a bother, just let me know, and I'll make sure to address it. And he responded saying that not to worry about it. He said his bedroom's on the back side of the house. He didn't hear nothing. So I was like, all right. Good to know.
So that was it. Next thing you know, did it go that they gave you an order to stop working? Is that how it went? Is that what led you to putting the big pecker up on your front lawn?
Yeah, so they came by with a noise complaint, and then they were like, oh, by the way, here's a stop work order. I was like, oh, geez, great. So I picked up all the plans, revised everything, and had the architect stamp off on it. And then they came back after I submitted all that, and they revoked my permit. And finally, I was getting tired of it. I sent out a letter to like 46 of my neighbors, like, hey, I understand there's some complaints. Please, I gave them my contact information. Please get a hold of me so I can address them, on a personal level instead of going through the town because it's just causing more problems.
Yeah. And
the neighbor across the street, he took that letter, and instead of responding to it, he just forwarded it right over to the town.
Okay.
That was kind of a dirty move.
Yeah, it is.
So that's kind of what incited the war, I guess.
Okay. When did the construction of the crank begin, Jamie?
The construction began back in July of last year.
Oh.
And the stop work.
No.
Yeah.
I'm at the construction of the penis.
Oh, that began on Memorial Day weekend, actually.
Okay, now was it just your idea, or did somebody help you come up with the whole idea of putting the big cock on your front lawn?
It was actually my wife's idea. She's like, I sent her the FOIA request that I had received and all the complaints, and she's like, oh, all right, so big dick on our lawn, and
okay.
Like, oh yeah. Sounds like a great idea.
Now, I noticed that the dick was standing straight up like a boner. Did you actually have balls with it, or was it just dick?
Oh, yeah, there's balls with it, too. If you go over to, I've got a little website explaining the whole story, wiltonwoody.com. If you go over there, there's quite a few pictures. I had a bunch of neighbors stop by and, take pictures with it.
Okay.
Now, everybody in the neighborhood actually liked it. I thought it was going to be a little bit more polarizing, but
yeah, well,
most people just thought it was hilarious.
So I understand people were walking up to it and getting pictures next to the dick. Is that right?
That's right. Or sitting on the ground, pretending like it was theirs.
Okay, now take us through the moment that you were there minding your own business, and all of a sudden the New York State Police showed up.
I was actually sleeping, and it was 8 in the morning. I was about to wake up. So I knock on the door, and I go downstairs. I see through the window it's a trooper, so as I normally do, I go to the back door so I can, so I don't accidentally invite them in through the front.
Okay.
So I go to the back door. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I poke my head around the corner. I'm like, oh, there's 2 of you, huh? And they're like, yep. So 2 things are going to happen. 1, you're going to take the statue down. 2, we got to bring you in to get to process you and arrest you.
Wow.
Like, whoa. That's a little bit more than I expected. I actually thought I was in the clear because I had done another FOIA request and seen that the town code enforcement said that they couldn't do anything about it because it was my constitutional right of expression.
Well, yeah, it's your property, and you got the Constitution, I think. Unless I'm getting that wrong. I mean, I don't know much about anything, but apparently somebody thinks that you've got a right to do this. Yes.
Yeah, most people think I have the right to do this. Somebody got upset. A complaint was filed.
Yeah,
and that's all it took to violate my rights.
So what are you going to do now? I mean, if you have the lawyer, do you sue for? Is this a thing that you sue for cash, or is it principal? I mean, how does it work, Jamie?
Well, if I can get legal representation for a reasonable price for pro bono, then I'm going to take it all the way to jury trial and fight it on principles for First Amendment. And I also am working on getting my workshop complete with another lawyer.
So yeah, man, if the guy would have just left you alone or just been a little bit less of an asshole about it, you wouldn't have. This wouldn't even be a thing.
No, yeah, he could have yelled across the street like, "Hey, turn that shit down!"
Right.
I'm trying to sleep, and I would have reacted totally differently. Instead, he went behind my back and continuously, like, he called 911 on me a couple times for having a bonfire.
Okay.
It was just continuous building up. That I was like, enough is enough.
What does this asshole do for a living? Do you know?
He's retired.
He's a what?
I don't feel great about treating like an old guy like this. Retired.
Okay.
I don't want to do anything. I kind of got pushed into a corner here, and I had no options.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, I tell you what, I'll be keeping an eye on the news to see how this updates, and perhaps we'll check back as it expands. Sorry you had to lose your. Now, if you win the case, are you going to put the dick back up?
Absolutely. I'm thinking about putting it back up and just putting like some frosted plexiglass around the tip and the balls.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, you can really go the extra mile and have it shoot out like toaster strudel sauce, and I mean just be really really rough with it. Maybe you can carve out a big asshole and.
I'm getting a lot of requests for the female. Female body parts. So I'm thinking about maybe a hammock or a chair.
Sure. And your wife, and she's the one who led you to the promised land. She sounds like a keeper. Don't ever mess that up. If she's encouraging you to put a big cock on your front lawn, I mean, Jesus.
I certainly won't. She's the best person I know.
You got kids? Should I be saying Happy Father's Day to you a day late?
No kids. It's just me and her. Couple dogs.
Very good. Well, I tell you what, Jamie, it's a pleasure talking to you, and I'll be keeping up on the story. I wish you nothing but success. Okay.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, thanks for talking to me. All right, that's Jamie Gagne from the. I think he's near Albany. It said Saratoga, and I think Wilton is actually near that neck of the woods. So who knows? Maybe he's listened to me before. I'm always afraid to ask.